Welcome back, everybody. So on Saturday, I had the chance to see the Matt Reeves Batman movie called The Batman. And what are my thoughts about it? Well, simply put, this may be the best Batman movie to date. Matt Reeves, in my opinion, simply gets it. He created an environment that is very real, very textured, and I would say timeless. In fact, to the point where I actually had a hard time trying to figure out when this took place. It seemed like the 70s or the 80s, but then you would see a smartphone and you realize, this is current. So let's talk about the cast. Let's start with the cast. Robert Pattinson's Batman was different than his predecessors. Pattinson's Batman was very methodical, and he used the dark specter of being the Batman to his advantage. He often will refer to himself as Vengeance in his pursuit of punishing criminals. This Batman was very even keel and typically doesn't even raise his voice, except for when he really had to. Speaking of voices, he doesn't really employ a bat voice, not one that we've grown accustomed to. Bale did the comically gravelly voice, the "Where is she?" And Affleck, he had that cool voice modulator. Also, this is very much a Batman movie, meaning Bruce Wayne does not have a lot of screen time. At this point, he really doesn't care about being Bruce Wayne, and he's just very reclusive. Reeves and Pattinson play to the strengths of Batman being a detective, which is awesome. This Batman is pretty much the smartest person in any room he walks into. Also, he scans the room, always looking for clues. Robert's Batman can get physical when he needs to, but there wasn't a big fighting action set piece like in other Batman movies. This is not really a bad thing because it's really kind of hard to compete with the warehouse scene in BVS. Zoe Kravitz, Catwoman, was very cool as well. She played Selina Kyle as a grounded individual with a traumatic past. She's neither the villain nor the hero, but on her own side. If it's beneficial for her to team up with Batman, she will. Otherwise, she'll just kind of go her own way. This again was very cool to see because this is how she is in the comics. She cares about the people that are close to her and willing to go to extraordinary lengths to either protect or in some cases avenge them. She's kind of the emotional balance to the methodical Batman. Paul Dano probably had one of the hardest jobs on this movie, playing a villain that is frightening, but one that does not upstage Batman. Luckily, Dano managed to do just that. His Riddler is scary on how real he seems. This dude truly seems like he could exist not only in the Gotham world, but in the real world as well, which is, to me, scary as fuck. They departed from the traditional look of the Riddler, which was smart. Also, everything happens on the Riddler's timeline, kind of like John Doe from Seven. That's probably one of the best comparisons that I can think of. Jeffrey Wright again proves why he is such a talented actor with his Jim Gordon. Not only does he look the part, but his acting is so nuanced. This is something that I've always dug about Jeffrey Wright's range. He knows when to go big and he knows how to rein it in. With this Jim Gordon, you truly feel he's the only honest cop in a corrupt Gotham City. Of course, I would be doing a disservice if I didn't talk about Colin Farrell as the Penguin. First off, I just got to get this out of the way. I'm always a little butthurt when they take a ridiculously handsome dude and put him into a fat suit. Only because there's a lot of heavier set actors out there that could do the role without prosthetics. But having said that, Colin seems like he's having a ball in this role. This Oswald Cobblepot is big, not only in appearance, but in personality. He's not a misshapen villain like in Batman Returns, nor is he the comical version that Burgess Meredith played in the Adam West Batman 1966. This Penguin is a larger-than-life, high-ranking mafia member who also has a killer nightclub. Some of the things that I love were: the look of this film is pitch perfect. Like I said earlier, Matt Reeves just seems to get it when it comes to the look of Gotham City. I love the fact that it was timeless. It could have been 1970s New York City for all we knew. I loved how the tech was handled. It was cutting edge when it needed to be, but it had elements of knobs and buttons and gauges. The Batman suit had looked worn with the leather and the stitching on the cowl. It was really interesting visually. This is also true of the Batmobile. It wasn't sleek like the '89 version, nor was it the Tumbler from the Nolan movies. It seemed to have a classic car look that was heavily modded, reinforced, with a rocket engine strapped to the back of it. The coolness factor of this Batmobile was pretty damn high, I have to admit. And it delivered one heck of a good car chase scene. It's pretty noticeable they reference a lot of the Long Halloween for this film, and that's a pretty good choice for the source material. If you have read it, you know what I'm talking about. But if not, it follows Batman in his early career. This wasn't a beat-for-beat accounting, but the relationship between Carmine Falcone and Thomas Wayne was pretty spot on. And speaking about the Wayne family, I really dug the family history. They kind of go into it a little bit. The Waynes are kind of like the fictional Rockefellers or Vanderbilts. They were a founding family of Gotham, along with the Arkhams. And come to think of it, I've never seen the Arkhams referenced in a movie aside from the Sane Asylum. That was pretty cool. But there were things that I didn't love. Robert Pattinson's Batman is small. Not like short, I mean, he's actually an inch taller than Christian Bale. But he's not bulky or built like other incarnations of the character. Hint, hint, Ben Affleck. It's not bad when he's in the suit, but when he's in his Bruce Wayne persona, it becomes pretty apparent just how slim of a guy he is. I heard a rumor that Pattinson didn't want to put on extra muscle for the role. Now, I can completely understand that because it would have meant a special diet, rigorous workouts, and some possible extra strength vitamins, if you know what I mean. But if that's the case, then maybe minimize the shirtless scene for Bruce Wayne. Also, I really didn't like how much of a dick Bruce Wayne was to Alfred. I mean, I know this is still early Batman stuff, but Mr. Pennyworth raised Bruce Wayne and put him on the path of being Batman. Now, there were a couple scenes with genuine affection between Bruce and his adopted dad, but the rest of the time he's kind of mean to him. Not cool, Bruce. Not cool. So, the third act involved a disaster situation, and it kind of seemed to clash with the rest of the movie. It raised the stakes of the story, but it kind of seemed a little tacked on at the last minute. It's not horrible by any means, but just a little bit out of place with the previous two acts. Now, I think this is probably my biggest complaint, and that is yet another Joker. At the end of the movie, Barry Keoghan was introduced via being the next door neighbor to the Riddler at our Arkham. It was kind of hard to see Keoghan's Joker, but, of course they had a diabolical conversation. And from what they showed, it seemed like a compelling take on the Joker. And it's not the worst idea to tease him now, but do we need yet another Joker in the DC movies? I mean, currently there are two, with Jared Leto and Joaquin Phoenix. This would make number 3. And also, Batman has one of the best rogues galleries in all of comics. But it's always got to be the Joker, apparently. I dug the movie a lot. And like I said in the beginning of the video, this may very well be the best Batman movie to date. But in all honesty, I still kind of wish this had been Ben Affleck's solo movie. Because he is, in my opinion, the perfect Batman. But I could learn to love this franchise very easily. And Ben Affleck, that ship has already sailed. It's not going to happen. I am very happy they are choosing to do a Gotham PD show on HBO Max. And if it's anything like Peacemaker, and it's going to be nothing like Peacemaker, but if it has the originality and good storytelling that Peacemaker had, well, I'll be one happy nerd. But these are just my opinions, and I would love to hear yours. Feel free to comment, and if you haven't done it yet, give me a like or subscribe, whatever you want to do. And as always, fare thee well, my friends, and take care. Cue the music.